In this video, we're going to do rear brake pads and rotors on this E90 328. And this is part of a series of videos on this car where I'm trying to bring it back to life. This is how I found the car. I've since got it back up and running, and we're going to continue that work right now. Now, I should mention, this job is easy for me because I have a lift, but this is totally doable with a jack and some jack stands. Step one is removing your wheel, which we're going to skip because I trust you know how to do that. I like to start these jobs with soaking the hub and this little retaining screw with some PB Blaster just to help it loosen up and get ready for being removed. There's this little spring clip or retaining clip here at the front side of the caliper. Little screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, or a small pry bar goes in there, and this will pop right out. There are two rubber boots that protect the guide pins on this caliper, and they have a plastic cap on the back of it. So you just want to reach back there and remove those caps, set it to the side. The guide pins are 7mm hex heads. You want your socket to get back there. Make sure it's fully seated into that guide pin so you don't risk stripping this out, and then back this out. The brake line, the emergency brake cable, and some of the suspension components kind of get in your way here. So what I found easiest was to use an extension to reach in there and break these free. Also, break these free by hand first. Don't just hit it with some kind of power tool right off the bat. The top one I was able to get was just a straight extension, but the bottom one was tricky, so I found useful to use a universal or a swivel socket to get down in there and zip it off. The caliper bracket is held on by two 16mm bolts, and this one here you could just hit with an impact and zip them off. Before we take this apart, we do have to remove this wear sensor. And the wear sensor is only on the passenger side. It slides, it clips into one of the brake pads. The cable is routed up. If you have a little rubber cap on your bleed screw, it'll be behind that. And there's a few different plastic brackets that guide it up to where it connects to the car. But you can just grab on this and wiggle it and pop it out. Once that's out of the way, you should be able to get this caliper off. Number one, make sure you have something at the ready so that you can hang this caliper properly. If it's tight, you can use a flat screwdriver or a small pry bar to wiggle it out. I'm using these little hanging brackets here. You can use a zip tie, whatever you need to do. Suspend this caliper, put it to the side. Pull the pads out and give them a quick inspection. Here I see one side is worn down than the other. This is a common thing, and I'm hoping it's not the piston on this caliper, but usually it's the caliper bracket or whatever the brake pads slide on that cause it to bind. And we're going to take care of that later. Now I left the top caliper bracket bolt slightly on just to make sure this thing didn't fall off, but now I can reach back there and remove this entire thing. You're going to use your hex head socket set to get this retaining screw off. Make sure it's fully seated all the way in there. Give it a little tap to break it free, and you should be able to back this out. Hopefully the rotor's not seized on there too hard for you, but for me I'm just going to give it a few taps with the hammer to break it loose and slide this off. Now's the time to do a quick inspection on your brake shoes, the hardware back here, and your hub. Make sure you've got some meat on those shoes. Make sure your hub doesn't have any play, and then you can move on. Hit it with some brake clean, get some of that dust off there, clean this thing up a little bit. Next part for me is hitting this with a wire wheel, cleaning up that hub. You must use eye protection. I can't stress that enough. One of these little pieces flying off and going into your eye will ruin the rest of your life. Then I'm going to hit this hub with some anti-seize just to help make sure that the next time this rotor has to come off, it won't be stuck. Rotor goes back on. I'm going to spin it so that the hole lines up for that retaining screw. Doesn't have to be too tight. You can use that hex head socket to cinch that down. I'm going to come to this caliper bracket. I'm going to spray it down with some PB Blaster and let that soak for a bit. And we're going to grind down or wire wheel this surface of where the brake pad slides. This is going to be the issue where the brake pad starts to bind up sometimes. When that thing gets rusty or corroded, and it'll hold up the pad on one side. Here's a tip. Don't use short sleeves when doing this, and make sure you have that eye protection. But you're going to want to wire wheel or take a wire brush and just clean off the best you can any of the surface that the brake pad slides on. Once that's done, I'm going to hit this entire thing with some brake clean. If you're a dummy like me, now is when you come in and inspect your arm to see if any of these pieces of wire decided to embed itself into your skin. Seriously though, use a vise for this. It's the best thing to do. But if you got to hold it by hand, wear some long sleeves and of course that eye protection. What's left now is to reassemble it in reverse order. Get this bracket back in place by reinstalling those two 16mm bolts. Come around back and you're going to want to tighten that down with a torque setting of 68 Newton meters. I'll put a link to this tool below, but it's much better than the old school way of using a C-clamp to push this piston back in. I'm not opening the bleed screw, so I'm going to take my time and getting this piston back in nice and slow. But it's moving in really easy, so I'm glad that that's not why we had uneven pad wear. With the piston all the way back in, I'm going to inspect that boot. It looks good, so this is almost ready to go back on. I like using this here Sil Glide. I'll put a link to it below. I'm just going to coat the surfaces. Anywhere where these brake pads are going to move, slide, you want to make sure they don't vibrate, they don't chatter, they don't bind. So a little bit of lube on all of those surfaces. I'm going to put that on both the bracket side and on the brake pads. These pads are really easy to go back in. There's no little spring clip that sometimes make it hard to snap these in. These are just going to fit right onto the caliper bracket into these grooved slots. And the caliper side has a retaining clip that pops it right into the caliper. If you got any lube or grease onto the surface of the brake pads, just clean them off. I'm just going to use a little bit of brake clean on a rag to get it off. Carefully slide this caliper over the bracket, over the other brake pad, and line up the holes for the guide pins. You'll want to clean off these guide pins, and you want to just lube them up very slightly, not a lot of lube, just a tiny coating. Get them into their respective holes. I like to thread them backwards first to feel the threads cross over each other, and then go in clockwise just to make sure I don't cross thread. Using a torque wrench, you want to tighten these down to 30 Newton meters. After that, replace those plastic caps onto these rubber boots. Spring clips go back in. I find it easiest to put the long tang side, the long springy side of the clip onto the front of the caliper bracket first, and then just push it towards the bracket, the caliper itself, and this will pop right into the holes that are in the caliper and set in place. These wear sensors are designed, they're one use only. They're designed to wear away and expose metal contacts, which then trigger the brake light in your vehicle. So you don't want to reuse these, even if it looks like it's good. Mine looks like it's actually not that bad. I don't see the metal terminals on the outside, but it's getting replaced anyway. You just want to follow this cable all up along. There's two brackets, two plastic clips I should say, along one of these suspension components. Goes up around back. There's a couple of clips on the body of the vehicle itself. Then it goes up behind this cloth liner to a housing that holds the connector. I'll put a link to this below in case your set of rotors and brakes didn't come with it. But basically now we're just going to install this in a reverse order. I'm going to start with the sensor itself, snapping it into the brake pad, and I'm going to route this cable up the way it was. There's two little clips on one of these suspension components. There's two clips on the body side, and it goes up behind that liner. The liner's up top. There's a 10mm nylon nut. Mine was actually missing, so I actually found an extra one. I'm going to put that in now so that it's buttoned up nice and well. Make sure the connector for this sensor is fully seated. It clicks and it snaps back into the housing, and this job is done. I like making these videos to show how easy it is to do some of these things on your own, and of course to save a ton of money while doing it. I'll put links below to any of the tools or the items that I've used, and if you use my links, I will earn a whole 17 cents.